2 Chronicles 6, I'll just show you these because they're all very important. 2 Chronicles 6:33, you just keep going to the right. I always do it to the right. So if you don't know the books of the Bible, just keep flipping your pages, go to the right toward the end, and you'll get to 2 Chronicles. It goes 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles. Chapter 6, verse 33 is the next time that this occurs. And it says this in 2 Chronicles 6:33, and this is the wonderful prayer of dedication Solomon, the son of David, is praying. And he says this in verse 33, "Then hear from heaven your dwelling place, and do according to all for which the foreigner calls for you, that all the peoples of the earth may know your name and fear you, as do your people Israel, and that they may know that this temple which I have built is called by your name." You know what he's saying? He's saying, I want when people come in here, into this place of worship, and when they're foreigners and they're coming in to worship the true and living God, he says, when they call out to you, I want you to meet with them, and I want you to do that, God, because I want them to know you're the true and living God. That's what's exciting about going out and sharing the gospel. You and I have the privilege tonight, tomorrow, to talk to someone right here where we live, or on a business trip, or wherever you are, and we can talk to them, and we can connect them to God right there by the power of His Word to convert their soul. And they will join the multitude of people that say, I know that there is a God in heaven. We're part of the plan. And there are people you can talk to I never will meet my whole life. I'll never meet them. And there are people I'll talk to you're never going to meet. And you're part of the plan, and I'm part of the plan. It's a wonderful thing. Last one, turn to Daniel 4. And that's 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Songs, Psalms, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel. Daniel, there it is. After Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, chapter 4. It's after Ezekiel, which is a marvelous book. Don't get to heaven and bump into Ezekiel and say, oh, I never read your book. You know, you ought to read it. It would be very embarrassing if you haven't read it. You should read all these several times. But chapter 4, and this is the last time it occurs in the Old Testament, but this is an amazing thing. By the way, the 4th chapter of Daniel is the only chapter of the Bible written by a pagan. Luke, we're not sure if he ever, we know he was a Gentile physician, but he probably was a proselyte to Judaism. But Nebuchadnezzar was a pagan, non-Jewish, rank, idol-worshipping, unredeemed person who meets God, and he gets to write a chapter in the Bible. The 4th chapter of Daniel is one of the more amazing chapters in the whole Bible, written by this pagan king of Babylon. God had one thing He wanted him to know, and that's stated in verse 17. This decision is by the decree of the watchers, and the sentence by the word of the holy ones. Look at this. In order that the living may know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and He gives it to whomever He will, and He sets over it the lowest of men. What was that? That all the world may know that the Most High rules. Now, just in case you miss it, look at verse 25 at the end. And what happens is God strikes him with this boanthropy is the technical term for it. He thought he was an ox, and he crawls around on all fours and eats grass, and his hair grows long, and his fingernails grow long, and he is in dementia. And this is a judgment. I mean, he goes from being the top guy down to a cow. And look at verse 25. And they'll drive you from men, and your dwelling will be with the beasts of the field, and they'll make you to eat grass like oxen, and you will be wet with the dew of heaven, and 7 times, could be 7 years, will pass over you. Listen to this. You're going to be down there eating grass till you know that the Most High rules in the kingdoms of men and gives it to whomever He chooses. God's in control. And in case you missed that one, look at the end of verse 32. Same thing. That until you know the Most High rules in the kingdom of men. Now look what happens. Verse 34. At the end of this time, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted my eyes to heaven. He's down eating grass like an animal. And he finally does it. He finally lifts his eyes to heaven. Remember, that's all God wants us to do. Acknowledge Him. Believe Him. Trust Him. Yield to Him. And he says, He lifted His eyes to heaven, and my understanding returned to me, and I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored Him who lives forever. Now listen to his testimony. Boy, we'd baptize him for this here. I mean, this guy, I believe, became a believer. I think you're going to meet this man. I think he's going to come and sit at the table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and us in heaven. Because I believe he became a believer. Because listen to what he says. His dominion is an everlasting dominion. His kingdom is from generation to generation. All of us on the earth are nothing. Verse 37, now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise, extol, honor the King of heaven, all of whose works are truth. His ways are justice. And those who walk in pride, He's able to put down.